Teams won. No, seriously, all the basketball teams and the wrestling team won the games. Also, remember tonight at 6, our band and orchestra will be performing at the IMEA. Now for the weather. You probably noticed that it's going to go ahead and just rain again today like it did yesterday. The precipitation is 80% and the wind speed is 20 miles per hour, so your umbrella won't blow away. Thankfully on Monday and Tuesday the rain will let up for some sunshine. Speaking of Monday, alright, the E7 grade basketball teams are having another game at Chapel Hill. They'll both start at 5:15 p.m. But for now, back to our anchors.
Thanks, Justice.
Thank you to all who donated to Riley Children's Hospital fundraisers that Lawrence Central hosted this week.
Right, and the Belzer fundraiser Pennies for Patients wraps up today. Please turn in donations to the collection box. Anything you can give will help. The pasta lunch winning class will be announced next week.
iStep begins next week on Tuesday. Students who miss taking practice tests will do so today and Monday. Remember to eat and sleep well next week.
In addition, laptops will continue remaining at school and should not go home in preparation for the test.
The latest edition of the Belzer blog came out yesterday. It is linked to the launch page in Canvas calendar, containing many articles about women because March is Women's History Month. Log into the blog and read articles about some of our female teachers too, along with sports, entertainment, gaming, and more.
On this day in history, in 1455, Johann Gutenberg prints the first Bible on the printing press, an event which would lead to widespread literacy.
The celebrity birthday is Josh Gad, who is turning 27. He is an actor who starred in the Broadway production of the book Moorman, and he was also in the movie Pixels.
Our random fact of the day is that the United States military is the second biggest employer in the country, right behind the United States government.
Finally, in honor of Black History Month, here is reading with some of our Belzer students reading about African American involvement in the Civil War and World War II, followed by Mr. Harsha.
Have a great day, Bruins.
The 54th Regiment Massachusetts Volunteer Infantry. The unit was the first African American regiment organized in the northern states during the Civil War. Authorized by the Emancipation Proclamation and President Lincoln, the regiment consisted of African American enlisted men commanded by white officers. The unit began recruiting in February of 1863 and trained at Camp Magus outside Boston, Massachusetts. Prominent abolitionists were active in recruitment efforts, including Frederick Douglass, whose two sons were among the first to enlist.
On July 18, 1863, the famous Battle of Fort Wagner took place, resulting in casualties of 20 killed, 125 wounded, and 102 missing, presumed dead, roughly 40% of the unit's numbers at that time. The service of the 54th Massachusetts, particularly their charge at Fort Wagner, soon became one of the most famous episodes of the war, interpreted through artwork, poetry, and song. More recently, the 54th Massachusetts gained prominence in popular culture through the award-winning film Glory.
The Tuskegee Airmen, Red Tails, popular name of a group of African American military pilots, fighters, and bombers who fought in World War II. They formed the 332nd Fighter Group and the 477th Bombardment Group of the United States Army Air Forces. The name also applies to the navigators, bombardiers, mechanics, instructors, crew chiefs, nurses, cooks, and other support personnel.
When the pilots of the 332nd Fighter Group painted the tails of their P-47s red, the nickname Red Tails was coined. The red markings that distinguished the Tuskegee Airmen included red bands on the noses of their P-51s as well as the red rudder. The P-51B and D Mustangs flew with similar color schemes, with the red propeller spinning yellow wing bands and all red tail surfaces.
The Tuskegee Airmen were the first African American military aviators in the United States Armed Forces. During the Second World War, black Americans in many U.S. states were still subject to Jim Crow laws, and the American military was racially segregated, as was much of the federal government. The Tuskegee Airmen were subjected to discrimination both within and outside the Army. However, they would begin the end of discrimination and segregation both within the Army and in America as a whole.
Good morning, Bruins. Just want to make a quick announcement this Friday morning and introduce an addition to our Belzer staff. Starting this past Tuesday, Lawrence Township has decided to place a on-duty police officer both at Belzer Middle School and at Fall Creek Valley Middle School. And I want to make sure that I let you understand the reasoning behind that and also explain what that means to you. Sometimes when people see, especially if you have not seen one before, and you're walking through the hallways and you see a police officer with a badge in a uniform, you might think, oh gosh, why are the police here? There must be something wrong. I want to make sure that you know that we will have an officer here every day, all day during school, and their primary objective is to keep you safe. They will often be parked outside of the building. They will be walking around the perimeter, they will be driving around the parking lot, they will be doing all sorts of things to make sure that our building is safe and secure. Periodically, that officer will also come inside our building. They will walk our halls, they will interact with students and teachers, they'll check in with administration, share any concerns that may be going on in the area. But they are here for your safety and your protection and to assist us to make sure that we are keeping a safe school. I'm going to also notify your parents this Sunday night in my Sunday night call with this information so they are also informed. If they drive up to the school to drop you off and see a marked squad car out in front, I don't want them to also think what's going on, what happened, and cause any sense of fear. On the opposite of that, what we really want you to do is feel an extra level of safety and security. So we are excited. Again, these are either members of our Lawrence Police Department or Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department. And I was also notified that some of the officers actually have students that are in our district. And that means that they are invested in you and they are invested in Lawrence Township, and they are here. They have chosen to be here to help make sure that we are protecting all students at all times and increase our level of security for you. So I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that, so if they saw an officer in the hallway, they weren't alarmed. If you have any questions, students, about that, feel free to check in with me at any point. That's all I've got for this morning. Make it a great Friday.